This video is an addendum to the video on combining layer masks with adjustment layers. I want in this video just to address how you can simply paint on a mask. You don't have to make a selection ahead of time or use the painting to correct a selection. You can just use painting in and of itself. And this is sometimes a very easy and quick and expressive technique that you can use to isolate areas. So this is a photo of a European robin that I took in Greece. I love this photo. It has really good focus and expression, and I like the composition, but the robin is kind of blending into the background. So I want to use some adjustment layers and masks to correct that or to make it a little bit more the way that I want to see it. Now I'm going to go in, I'm going to pick a hue and saturation layer, and I'm not going to worry about anything except the robin. And watch as I do this because I'm actually going to up the saturation. I'm going to shift the hue just a tiny bit, and the lightness up the tiniest bit. I don't want to go too far with that. And actually, I think I'll leave that just at 1 because I can adjust it elsewhere. I'm going to go into the yellows and up the saturation of that. And I think that's good. Now, everything in the background also got more saturated, which isn't what I want, but that's not going to worry me because I'm going to actually use my mask to make some adjustments to that. Now, instead of just painting out the background or selecting out the background, I'm going to do a little reverse work. There's a couple shortcuts you can do to get started on this. You can do Option Delete, and that will fill the mask with black. The other thing you can do, though, is you can actually just do Command I. So I'm going to go back to the white layer. Remember, this reveals the entire selection, the entire adjustment. If I do Command I, it fills it with black, and the entire adjustment goes away. So you notice if I turn this on and off, it doesn't change anything because the adjustment is concealed. Now I'm going to grab my brush, Command B, and I'm going to change the foreground color to white, and I'm going to make my brush a little bit bigger. And I can just go in and paint into this little robin. I'm using a big brush to start, and then we'll go in and refine with a smaller one. And just paint the areas that I want to be more saturated. Go ahead and zoom in. And so I like this because I can work very directly on it. I can see exactly what's happening as I work. Adjust just the areas that I really want to bring up. And I also realize, there's areas that I don't have to get too worried about in this adjustment layer because it doesn't really, I'm not really worried about the tail being more saturated. I just mostly want this breast area. So now you notice that if I turn this layer on and off, the background is staying desaturated, but the robin is popped up. Now, I want to do 2 other things to show you how this can work. I want to actually change the brightness and contrast. So I'm going to, instead of choosing that, I'm going to choose curves because that's my go-to layer for adjusting the exposure. I'm going to grab this little hand tool, and I love this because I can just go to the areas that I want to lighten or darken and just take the curves up in that area. And again, you notice that the entire image, I'm going to take the blacks down a little bit, just a little bit. The entire image is responding to this. I'm not terribly worried about that because I'm going to do the same technique again. So I'm just getting the robin to where I want. Now I'm going to go back to the layers, and I want to show you yet another shortcut. I could do the Option Command. I could do the Option and drag it and copy it in there, but actually that is what I need. So remember this Option, drag, and replace this layer mask. And now again, you see that the brightness is only applied there. So if I go back to the original image, you can see this is the original image. And now we have the saturation and the brightness. It really pops out. Now, one more thing that I want to show you. And this is actually going to require the thing that I wanted to show you earlier. I'm going to go in and I'm going to add another hue and saturation layer, an additional one. And in this one, I'm actually going to desaturate and I'm going to darken. Now this may seem crazy because I just did all that work. Right now I'm just looking at the background. And now I want to show you this other shortcut. So remember, if we did an option drag, we copy that in. If you do shift option drag, you will copy it and you will reverse it. So that's a nice little shortcut. And so you notice that when I reverse it, I actually have it, it actually automatically goes to the inverse and it darkens the background. So I now have 3 adjustment layers. Here's the original image. Saturate the bird, lighten the bird, reverse the image mask, and darken the background. Quite a bit different. Okay, I hope that helps.